The British Army is in a state of collapse. Not only have the government massively reduced the numbers in the army over the 14 years of Conservative rule, but now a whole load of woke diversity targets is frankly threatening the future of recruitment. Now you think about it. What's going on in the Middle East, in Gaza? What is going on with Iran, the Red Sea? What is happening in Ukraine? What could happen in Taiwan if China invades? I think it's fair to say that for the vast majority of us, this is the most dangerous time at any point in our lifetimes globally. The threat of war is very real. And yet, in this general election year, we're not having a proper debate about the state of our armed forces. Just last week, we saw that from 1972, there'll be 4 British soldiers put on a charge, 1 for murder, 3 for attempted murder. And this from a government elected saying they would draw a line under all the troubles in Northern Ireland from half a century ago. You know, when you see things like that, if you're a youngster considering joining the army, you think twice. I spoke to Falkland Islands veteran Simon Weston on my GB News show last week, and he was frank about it. He said, you know what? If I was a young person, I wouldn't join the British Army again. When someone like Simon Weston says that, we should sit up and take notice. Now, over the weekend, there have been some leaked documents showing that the diversity and inclusion drive is now reaching such crazy levels that the British Army will be recruiting foreign-born nationals to go into the British Army to increase the percentage of those from ethnic minorities. And to make this happen quickly, because recruitment's so bad, they won't be doing the usual security checks. Not only is this wrong, it is dangerous, it is mad. And just to add insult to injury, they're even talking about doing their best to take out the Christian elements of our remembrance services every November. Now, let's be clear, you know, this was a wholly Christian country in those days, but always, with the British Army in both world wars, we paid respect to those of all faiths who came and served with us. But we did it from a predominant Christian culture. We should not be rewriting history. We should not be destroying the Army's achievements, incredible achievements, over so many years. This is now a situation that is so dire that Grant Shapps, our Defence Secretary, has popped up and said, we must stop all of this nonsense. Well, have a think about this. General David Petraeus, former American commander, came to London a couple of years ago and said, guys, if you go on with this Equality Act, if you go on with human rights, if you go on prosecuting soldiers for past so-called crimes, you're going to have a major problem. Number 10 chose not to listen to him. There are now up to 93 different diversity targets within the Ministry of Defence. Truly, the woke mob is in charge. Which I was very pleased to see this letter appear, signed by this number of senior former officers. Please take time, read it. The wording couldn't be stronger. The wording couldn't be clearer. These are a group of men across the services who've given amazing service to this country and are now desperately worried about where we're going. But one of the reasons this is all happening, and what Mr. Shapps will not acknowledge, this has all happened under a Conservative government. And guess what? They've outsourced army recruitment to Capita. Capita, one of these classic Blairite-style companies. And if you read the mission statement on their website, look at this. They say, yes, we're helping the army with its recruitment and transformation. And what that means is an army, not based on ability. What it means is an army that fits a whole series of diversity targets. An army that will not be fit for purpose to defend this country if indeed we do head in to global conflict. And this issue, I think, is so serious, so worrying, that it needs to become a major national debate in a year when we're going to have a general election. I hope you too share my concern. This direction we're heading in is a disaster.